Alright, what is up, my ShivoTechians? Today we're going to create another VB app in our Visual Studio. And as you see here, I already created the user interface again to save us time. If you haven't checked out my last video, make sure you do that before you watch this one. I mean, I guess you don't really have to, but we're kind of building on stuff here, so it might be a good idea. Alright, so we're going to create another Windows Phone app in VB, and as you see here, it's a pizza app because everyone loves pizza. So it's like a little menu here, and you can type in, the amount of pizzas you want, the size, and then each size has a different amount. And then the item amount is calculated right here, and then it keeps a running subtotal of all this down in this little group box up here. And then a couple things I want to point out before we get started with the code is, so I use a checkbox here, and a checkbox actually doesn't have to be checked. And then a radio button, so you actually have to check one of these. So that's just kind of the difference between a checkbox and a radio button. And if you guys want to look at some of my naming conventions up here in the corner, I did RAD, or RAD for radio button, gigantic, large, medium, and then I named all these controls too. And let's get started. And then, I don't know, as you guys remember, so the first thing we're going to code is this calculate selection button here. So let's double click that, and then as you see, I have all my comments in here, just like I did in my last video, just kind of help us do a layout and make things run a little bit smoother. So, all right. So the first thing we're going to do is declare some public variables, and I don't know if you guys remember in my last video, I actually kind of explained the difference between public variables and local variables, but I will do it again. So a public variable, here, let me write one out and then I'll explain it. So I'm going to do public quantity as integer. Alright, so a public variable, as I said last time, is a variable that you can use in all throughout the whole application, basically. So you can use it in this little VT calculate click event. You can use it in the clear event. You can use it everywhere. Now, local variables. So I did a local variable right here, just dim int as integer. So for this one, you can only use it in this sub right here. So just to keep noting that. And then these variables I'm declaring up here, I'm declaring because we want to use them in other places. So, like quantity, we're going to need the quantity to calculate the subtotal, or the delivery fee, and total due. So we want to be able to use it throughout the whole application. So, and then I'm going to do a lot of copy and pasting. Right? Just in the interest of time, my last video might have been a little bit longer than it needed to be. So to speed things up, I'm just going to copy and paste some stuff in. So let me do that real quick. And then I'm going to explain to you guys what all these variables mean for a second. So I just think it's kind of easier for me just to type it out real quick, and then I'll tell you what is going on with it here in a second. Alright, so all these are public. So this little public keyword or little statement right here saying, what I was explaining earlier, you can use it everywhere. So, oops, I have two quantities, my bad. Okay, we got everything we need here. Looks like. Alright, so I declare all these variables because we need, so I declare a variable for quantity, so it'd be, whatever stored in here. I declared a variable for the item price, which is this, right, the item amount. And then the total due, the delivery fee, which is right here. And so I'm declaring them up here because we're going to need them for this little new order, because that's what clears this, and also the exit button. So, and then also I'm going to need public sub total as decimal. I forgot about this one, and that will go, or that's for right here. Alright, so here's my public variables, and now the next thing we're going to do is code this calculate button right here. So, and if you guys remember, if you just double click this button, it'll take you straight to the event. And then we'll define all these local variables, and again, I'm just going to copy and paste these in, and I will explain them to you guys. Alright, so I made a variable for every single one of these radio buttons right here. And the reason I did that, obviously variables are, what they do is store information, right? They store our data types. And I actually use constant right here for my keyword because these numbers, we want all these numbers, they're the price of the pizza. They're not going to change, or at least for right now. So we want them to remain, constant throughout the whole application. And then I also did this valid as Boolean, and what the Boolean data type is these are data types, by the way. The decimal Boolean is so the Boolean is like true or false, basically, is what it's saying. And the reason, I will show you why I did that here in a second. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do for this calculate button, or calculate selection button right here, is to, if you guys remember my last app, the integer.tryParse method. Remember, so you have to, when you enter a number in this text box right here, this quantity text box, it's actually a string, and we want to convert it to an integer. So let me show you guys what I mean here. And we did this in my last app. So this integer.tryParse, text quantity.text quantity. So basically what this does is whatever's in this right here, whatever in this text box, or is inserted in here, is actually converted into an integer and then stored in the quantity variable. And I'm going to make this equal to valid, and I will show you guys why in a second. So the reason I made this little valid variable right here is to make sure that that what the user is inserting into this text box right here isn't actually an integer. So we don't want to allow the user to insert like an A, like an A or a B or a letter. It needs to be a number because we're not going to say the quantity is A times a small pizza. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. So we actually want a number in there. So this little Boolean variable just double checks that it's like a validation check. So what I have laid out right here, so I'll do. So if is valid, then so basically what this is saying is if the valid is equal to an integer. So if it's an integer, then, which is fine, then we'll do our logic right here. So then we'll find the price of all the pizzas. And I'll copy and paste this in. Alright. So if it's valid, so if it's an integer, then we calculate the price of the pizza. So, alright, so basically the price of the pizza is going to be the quantity times the the quantity times whatever the pizza costs. So a small pizza costs $10, so item price, so we're setting it equal to item price is equal to quantity, the number in here, times small, so times 10. So and then if this dot checked event is just saying is if the small radio button is checked, if the medium radio button is checked, if the large radio button is checked, then yeah, so and then you guys can kind of interpret what I did for the rest of these. It's the same code. And then else, okay, so else, and you guys remember an else statement is basically saying if, the else is if it's not, so if it's not valid, so if it's like a letter or, like if it's not a number, then, alright, so we're going to set the quantity equal to 0, and the item price, excuse me, price equal to 0 because we don't want them to be able to execute that statement. And then also we're going to do a message box, and then I'll show you guys the code for this here in a second. Alright, so this message box dot show is just saying, so this, you must enter a number between 1 and 99, so this is the text I'll display in the message box. The button is like an OK button when like the user has read it and wants to clear it, and then it's just an icon in the corner, and then this is just like the meaning. It's an error. So you guys, once I shoot this thing up, you guys will definitely be able to interpret this text box. It's pretty easy. All right. So the next thing we need to do is calculate our subtotal, and our subtotal is equal to item price plus the subtotal. Okay, so the reason we're doing this is because we want the subtotal to be actually a running total. So say if, you know, the user makes one order, say the user puts one in here, and then, oops, excuse me for a second. The user puts, actually, let me take that off for a second. So the user puts one in here and they click small, and then the item amount would be $10, right? So but if the user makes another order, say he puts another one in here and then pushes medium, it'd be 10 right, or 1150 right here, but there'd be a running total right here of 2150 because it just keep a running total of all the orders that you push up here, or that you made up here, until you push new order, and then it cleared the whole form out. So yeah, we definitely want this to be a running total. So this is basically saying the subtotal is equal to the item price plus this, you know, the subtotal that, or the variable that was already stored in there before. And then the delivery fee is what we want to calculate next. So if the check takeout dot checked, oops, excuse me, then delivery is equal to item price times the delivery rate plus the delivery. So this is also a running total, and the delivery fee is just 10% of the total order. So say if the order is a delivery, then we're just going to charge them 10% a delivery fee. It's kind of like a tax. I mean, that's kind of what I had in mind here. All right, and then also we're going to make this check takeout dot enabled is equal to false. So once the reason I'm doing that is once the user already clicks this delivery, we already know that this whole order is a delivery. So we don't want to be able to, you know, check it again, basically. So it just basically this like grays out this button. All right, and then the next thing we need to do is calculate the total due, which is just the total due is equal to the subtotal plus the delivery, which that's pretty. It just total due is equal to delivery plus the subtotal. All right, and then display the values. All right. All right, so to display the values, you convert this variable right here to a string, and then put it in the text box that you want to, display it in, or the label, excuse me. So the LVL item amount dot text, so this label right here, convert this item price and then .toString, and then this little C2 on the end of these is just it's like a formatting thing. So basically what this is saying is put it into currency. So we'll put a $ in front of our number since we're doing with money here, and then the 2 is just how many decimal places that you want at the end of the period. So if I just did 1, then it'd just be 1 decimal place, but I've just been doing 2 because it makes sense with money. And then finally we want to enable the buttons again. So once the user has submitted, once the user has actually put information that's calculate section button, then the new order button and the exit button should become, activated basically, because they've already have information there. So if they didn't have any information in there, there's no reason to click new order, right? So activated those buttons. All right, so that's all we need to do for this sub. And if I'm flying too fast here, I'm sorry. This application actually has a lot more code than my last one. And I will put the code on my blog, and I'll put my blog in my description on my YouTube video for you guys to check out, just in case, you want to review it. I'm just kind of doing like a quick summary of, the whole thing and walking through my code. I mean, kind of fairly quickly, but a lot of this is pretty easy stuff. So, all right. So the next button we're going to do is this clear button right here. And what this does, clear for the next item. So say you put small in there, or quantity of 1, and you put a small pizza, and the item amount would be $10. So you would put that one in there, and you want to clear for the next item. So you want to clear for to order a medium pizza as well. So what we're going to do is just clear the. Alright, so we cleared all these with the string.empty, so we cleared all these text boxes right here, or these two, excuse me, the quantity and the item amount, and then the text quantity.focus. So that, the text quantity.focus, what that does is put the cursor back in this quantity text right here, and then this rad small.checked equals true puts our checked, or like a, checked in small right here automatically, just to make sure that the user has one checked. Alright, and then the new order button. So what this new order button, that's what we're going to do next, this new order button. So what the new order button does is it clears the entire form basically. So, and then it's going to confirm that, it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to do a new order with that message box again? And I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So I'm going to put in all this code for the whole sub, and then I will explain it to you guys. Actually, let's get to these comments. Alright, so what this does is, yeah, okay. So what this dialog result right here is basically saying, yes or no. It's kind of like a Boolean, but not really. The dialog result is, basically just asking, or it's like confirming yes or no. So like when I click the new order right here, it's gonna say, are you sure you want to clear your order? You're gonna put yes, and then it clears the whole form, or no, and then it just takes you back. So what this is gonna do is I did a local variable right here as $result, and then I made the DLG button equal to this message box right here. Oh, I missed an end, excuse me. And then, and then I cleared all, the whole form, and then I put the focus back in the quantity box, and then I made all the variables equal to 0, because otherwise I just keep a running total. And then also I made the radio button checked once again. So, and then the next thing we need to do is the final thing for this app is do the close. And then if you guys remember, it's super simple, just me.close. So, alright, so let's shoot this up, and then I'll walk through you guys again. It's a lot easier just for you guys to see it running and then have me explain it. So say I put 1 in here, I did small, and I did delivery. So the item amount is $10, you guys see that, and then the subtotal is, as of right now, is 10. And since we did you see how the delivery button grayed out up here, guys? So that's because we did this, the check.enabled equals false right here. And then, oops, excuse me, I need to get back. So, so now say if we did one medium pizza, so it just had the price of the medium pizza right here, but it keep a running total, and still it's 10% right here. All right, and then let's do a new order, and then see how it says, are you sure you want to clear this entire order? So this is our dialog result, and if I push yes, so it cleared the whole form, it put the focus back on the quantity text box, and then it has small right here. Now let's say if we put, 3 A's in here. And as you see, this message box popped up, you must enter a number between 1 and 99. So this is our validation check. So this is what I was talking about right here. So if it's valid, so if it's an integer, then do this code, but if it's not, then it's going to show this message box right here. Alright, oops, excuse me, sorry. Alright, and then, so it calculated 0 right there. Now let's see if we do 1. Alright, so this application is definitely working, and so yeah. I mean, we couldn't run one, so let's go through all these again too. So we did 2 gigantic pizzas. The price of those are 29, because it's, what is it, $14.50 a piece, or yeah, $14.50 a piece. So yeah, I mean, once again, this is kind of a, very simple, VB app, but it's really, VB is a good beginner language, definitely, just because how easy it is to interpret logically. I mean, it's really easy to understand, and if you understand one of these languages, VB, then you definitely have the capability of, doing C#, Java, I mean, really anything. So, I mean, it's just kind of good to get, a programming background in a super simple language like this, and then just kind of keep progressing. I mean, VB is one of the, V is the very first language I actually learned. So, I mean, and really it's so similar to other ones that if you learn how to do very well at this, you'll have no problem programming other languages. So, all right, and then if you guys, I can walk through this code once again, just real quick. So once again, we did these public variables because we wanted to use it in this new order one down here, and this new order sub. And then I did my local variables right here, and they're constants because they're never going to change. And then, the price, the item price is the quantity of pizza times, whatever's checked. And then, you guys know how to, this C2 right here is the currency formatting, and then the 2 means that's two after the decimal point. And then, and then this dialog results. This is a new one, kind of. So dialog result, basically, here, I'll just shoot up this application again. I'll show you guys. So this dialog result, oops, excuse me, I did small. I didn't click anything. So it's this. So are you sure you want to clear the entire order? So then if you push yes, then it's going to clear, and then push no, it's not going to do anything. So if I do it again, yes, clear, exit. And then, so this application, again, is a super simple one, and, I hope you guys enjoyed it. The apps I'm gonna, keep making are gonna continuously get, harder and harder. I'm just trying to show you guys new things, so, you guys kind of learn how to, keep a running variable, work with radio boxes, radio buttons and check boxes. So, it's good and fun to try new things. So, definitely, get, that experience out there. And, all right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and make sure you hit that subscribe button if you guys like this. And also, I'm going to be producing some pretty dope content here lately. Also, hit me up on Twitter. I'm going to type it out right here. At ShivoTech. All right. Thanks, guys, and stay tuned for more.